I reckon that it's going to appear to be in a cursed car, this Grand Prix, because you've got, the main straight, and just before Parabolica, between Ascari and Parabolica, you've got another long straight. So, you're going to be able to use your curves quite nicely there, even if you don't use it anywhere else. But I mean, between Seraglio and Ascari, you've got another decent straight, so you can use it there. And I'm sure, well, to be honest, if it was me going down the main straight, I'd just have the curves held in, because you're gonna build up a hell of a gap. I mean, if you've got a Brawn that's just sticking with you, and then all of a sudden you've got this extra horsepower, you're just going to fly away from them. And they're going to be lucky if they catch you going into the first corner. So I really think that Ferrari and McLaren and possibly Renault, because I heard rumours that Renault are going to be running cars for Monza as well. So I think that it'll be surprising if you see anyone that's, no, it's going to be surprising if you don't see the Ferraris and the McLarens in there. I don't know about the Renaults, because at the moment I don't really rate Grosjean, especially after what he said at the end of Spa. I think it's a bit of an ass. But
well, him being an ass doesn't really have a reflection on how good a driver he is, although he's not particularly that good a driver.
No, he isn't. So I don't think you'll see here. I think he'll be lucky to get into the second qualifying again. But you've got Button, and at the moment you can't really rule the Brawns out. The same with the Red Bulls. But I think Fisichella in the Ferrari, I'm expecting a win, to be honest.
I think Raikkonen is probably more likely to get a win out of this circuit than Fisichella in a Ferrari. And in terms of the Red Bulls, I don't think we're going to see much from them in this race. They're not that good on the straights. This is going to be Brawn and Ferrari ground. This is going to be raw sort of death match between those two. But I think it's going to be incredibly important for Ferrari to fire up that curve during that first straight from the start up to turn 1, because at that turn they're going to be really vulnerable. And then from there on, they're fine until maybe turn 11. Even that's not particularly much of a worry. But turn 1 is going to be Ferrari's weakest point.
I don't know, I think you're overlooking the psychological aspect of Formula 1, because a lot of a driver's I say a lot, some of a driver's performance is down to the psychology that he has, right? So if you look at it just from the psychological side, you've got Fisichella coming off his best result in years. He's in front of his home crowd, driving his ambition, which was always to be in a Ferrari. So, I mean, he's going to be on an absolute high this next race. So, I don't know, I think it would be very silly to rule him out. He's definitely in for a podium, but I really do expect the win.
You think so? Yeah, I guess when you put it like that, he's probably going to be on form. But do you think an on-form Fisichella is going to be enough to beat Raikkonen? I mean, there isn't going to be much competitiveness between the two because they're both on the Ferrari team. But I mean, Raikkonen is by far a better driver.
I don't know. I think an on-form Fisichella could beat a Raikkonen any day.
Right. Well, hopefully this race is going to be quite interesting. We've got Brawn, the royal death match between Brawn and Ferrari still happening. We got Button. This is where he should... I mean, aside from the fact that Ferrari are going to really specialise in this race, I think Button's got a good chance of getting maybe third on the podium. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think Button's definitely got a chance of a podium, I think. But I agree. I think Ferrari's going to have this one locked down. It's going to be theirs. It would be very surprising if it's not.
Okay, so let's take an example. Pole position goes to... Well, we'll go Fisichella. Pole position on Fisichella, and second to Raikkonen with maybe Button in third. What do you think is going to happen coming up to that first turn? Because I think if it's 1-2 Ferrari at the beginning and then Button in third, I think we can possibly see an overtaking by Button on that first corner of the second Ferrari. It's possible. I don't know. I think if that does happen, then the Ferrari will probably just re-overtake when it comes to coming into turn 11. He'll just fire up the curves and just overtake him again. But I think that's going to be quite interesting.
I don't know if you've got Raikkonen on first and Fisichella on second, Button third, then Raikkonen's going to storm away with it, because Fisichella will just be told to sit there and hold Button up as much as he can. But if you've got Fisichella in first and Raikkonen second, I don't know, there could be trouble. Because, let's face it, Raikkonen is doing alright in the championship. I mean, he's not fantastically high, but he has got more than the 8 points that Fisichella currently has. I mean, he's in 5th, he's got 34 points. I don't know, what do you do? Because, he's only 4 points ahead of Rosberg, but he's well behind Webber. Do you let Fisichella go and get on with it, and Raikkonen sits and watches, or do you let Raikkonen crack on, keep Fisichella behind holding people up, or even just sitting with Raikkonen, really?
See, I think that'd be quite mean if they went, Fisichella, do you mind, just slowing down a bit for Raikkonen? Because, like you said before, this is his home. He's, this is like his moment in all of sort of his career is sitting. Let's imagine he's sitting on pole position for Ferrari. I don't think even Ferrari would say no, slow down.
I think it'd be really mean if they did. If he gets there on pole, then they should let him go for it, because he's Italian, he's in a Ferrari, they've just come off having Bador in the car, who, let's face it, has kind of ruined their reputation a bit. You're in front of the Tifosi, who, let's face it, if they'd had Bador in the car for Monza, would have probably gone down to the garages and tore them apart. So, I don't know, I think it would do them a lot of good to have an Italian in the car winning the Italian Grand Prix. What more could you ask for if you were a fan?
Yeah, I guess so. But it doesn't pose much of an advantage for them to have Fisichella winning. I mean, I think Raikkonen winning would be a lot better for them in terms of points.
I don't think it's going to make much difference. Raikkonen's not even going to get, third in the constructors, and let's face it, for the drivers' championship, if you're not first, then it doesn't matter really. Whereas the constructors, it matters a bit for team pride and whatever. But I mean, for the team, it doesn't matter whether Fisichella or Raikkonen scores the points; they've still got the points.
Yeah, I guess, but it looks better for Ferrari if Raikkonen were to win the year. I mean, I don't think he is. He's sitting at 34 points. Button's sitting at 72. I mean, he is in 5th, but there's a big gap. In fact, there's a massive gap between him and Webber, because the top one, Button's sitting at 72, and then Barrichello's at 56, Vettel's at 53, and then Webber's at 51.5, and then there's that massive drop all the way down to 34 points. But I think, how many races are left? There's 6 races. Let's imagine Raikkonen's getting 6 to 8 points. 5 races, sorry. 6 to 8 points per race. He can probably catch up a bit. I mean, he's probably not going to get first.
If won all of the last races and no one else scored any points above him, he could win the championship. But that would have to mean the Button's not going to finish, Barrichello's not going to finish, Vettel and Webber aren't going to finish in the points. So let's face it, that's not going to happen.